Welcome back to the Moisture Farm once again. I've got another deck to show you. Got a really good announcement that kind of leads into what we're doing today. After months of waiting and trying with packs and hundreds of dollars spent, I've finally acquired a playset of Luke Skywalker's, which means that I'm going to start doing a lot more Hero Blue stuff. You may have noticed there's a lack of that in the videos I've done so far, and I didn't even want to try putting decks together without it. It's just such an important card for this shell. So now I've got them. So we're gonna do some of it. We're gonna work this shell and find some cool stuff to play. So Yoda Blue, what are we doing here? We really like playing vigilance on curve for 4, or just not having to pay out of aspect for vigilance is good. We've got Sugi in double blue, which is a strong sentinel, and most of the time that enemy upgrade precursor works out pretty well. So we like that. And we've just got a solid shell around us here. Starting from the top, we've got only 6 2-drops, which if you don't hit on your hand or a mulligan, it's not the end of the world, because our 3-drop category is pretty strong and can respond to a strong early play. Equalize, make an opening, giving things minus. Village Protector and Conquered Dawn just to kind of shut down with Sentinel. Even playing Yoda, if you miss your turn 1, playing Yoda next phase, poses a bit of a threat to tempo. The Restore 2 comes in big, and if they target it, then you'll get some card draw. So, and Perilous Position 2 is just a fantastic card. Going into 4s, we've got Kanan, Vigilance, and Sugi. This is really where this deck starts turning up a little bit. Is our 4 drops. Just really, really strong plays across the board in 4. And then Fell the Dragon, ends up coming more so like on the later parts of the game for 4. Mundi at 5 just kind of bridges things a little bit. Nice to have in your hand if the math isn't really working with 3s and 2s. Going into turn 5, putting down a Mundi, just big stats. Might even be able to coordinate depending on the matchup. We've got Kenobi and Bendu kind of working together at the 6-drop, just big sentinels. I probably would just play a 3rd Kenobi. For some reason I might not have it. I couldn't find a 3rd one, so just do 1 Kenobi and a Bendu. Obviously our 3 Lukes, and Redemption, Chewbacca, and Zillobeast to top off. Redemption is just so multifaceted. You're healing units, healing base, or I think it's just really good. The way that this meta seems to be trending is just having that body in space. Late game can just absolutely shut down certain matchups. Splashing 1 Chewbacca in there, I think, the stats on Chewbacca are interesting. Obviously, you're getting a free takedown in his ability. 410 at the top end. You're really you're really more so using that for its removal. And then, Zillobeast, just another way you can shut down late game turns. So got a couple games in to show you guys against a Cad Red and a Tarkin Blue. So let's go ahead and jump into those and see how this deck turns out. All right, let's jump in. We've got shout out to my man Derek running Tarkin Cad on the other side. I'm going to start off with initiative, drop the Queel, which, we love doing. Double blue Queel is so good because you get that guaranteed card draw. We don't run any hero, just single hero aspects, so we're cool with that. He's going to take initiative, misses on a turn 1 play, puts a damage on the Queel, plays punishing 1 on curve. Solid card. And then I'll discard vigilance, get to bring that into my hand. Having that card draw engine working for you early in a more controlling deck is pretty good. So we bring in the hello there to give punishing 1 the -4/-4 for the phase, which works out pretty nicely for us. Like one of the stronger 3-drop plays that shell has in store. Just big stats and a decent ability too. Doesn't always get played for its ability, but just for its stats is a solid card. So like getting that out of the way. He'll retain initiative and forlom into my Queel. Got to respond to that. I am able to use Yoda's ability now if I wanted to, but go ahead and drop Kanan in there safely. He'll claim initiative, and I will pull off some Yoda shenanigans here, mess around with my deck. You can see I just got a Jedi lightsaber into my hand, which I'll just put that right back on top. Jedi lightsaber is fantastic. We've got enough Jedi. Obviously, we've got Yoda, we've got Kanan, Obi-Wan, Mundi, Yoda. There's a lot of good targets for Jedi lightsaber. I still only like to use 2 a lot of the time, just because it's it can look really bad if obviously if you don't have any Jedi on the board, or also it just looks bad if like you upgrade something and then against the yellow deck it gets waylaid, or he finds a way to deal damage and then can Tarkin town. So we got the 3/2 Sentinel in space on Derek's side. Playing Vigilance will defeat Forlom and then put a shield on Kanan. Didn't have any damage to heal on my base, so no sense in taking that option, but good way to get some clean removal and then find a way to keep Kanan around. And we'll swing into base for 4. And even though I don't have any damage to heal, might as well get the free discard in. One less card that your opponent is able to use against you, the way I see it. So looks pretty good. Do some more Yoda shenanigans here. And Derek's working the Crafty Smuggler. So 2 shielded units in the ground arena. And then we've got the 3/2 Sentinel in space. I believe we're going into resource 5 now. Be interesting to see. We got a Jabba coming in on Derek's side, and he'll go ahead and take care of that shield. And he's going to go look for that trick. Probably fetching a McClunky or something like that. And for a control deck, I've got a little bit of a lead working with here. I'm gonna eventually swing in for 4. So put the Jedi lightsaber in. A little bit of a risk on my part with he's got 2 resources up. Definitely makes Kanan a good target to no good to me dead, which would look really bad. But I didn't feel like he had it, and he'll get some damage in the base. I'll take a pretty big swing into his base and actually heal off that discard. It's a Bosk that goes into his discard, so I'll get to heal 2. Pops his shield on Crafty Smuggler to give a little more into Kanan. And then we'll lay down another Queel here to use up my resources. I believe I cut off his discard pile, but I believe he just played... Oh, a Grenade Strike is what he did. played the Grenade Strike, and then Tarkin Town, Kanan. So is able to get rid of that. And just like that, Derek's got 3 units on the board going into his Cad Bane flip turn. So I've got to figure out a way to pump the brakes on it a little bit. I do have a nice lead to work with, so I'm definitely not panicking with that board state. I've got a 12 damage advantage, plus he's using the 25 base, so it really feels like more than that. I'll get to take out Crafty Smuggler and bring in another Queel into my hand. After the Queel in play dies. 3 damage is going to come in on my base. Yoda's online, so I'll go ahead and work that. Feels really good to use that when you have an open resource pool, because it gives you another card to play with. So, we're on resource 7 here, so the blaster is going to come in for with Jabba, or we're on resource 6 still, I believe. I think I just said 7. But yeah, Jabba's going to come in, get a little bit extra damage in. Still got all my resources up. Just trying to figure out what my optimal play is here. Tricky thing. I think the situation I'm in here is I can only play 1 card, I think, with just the cost of cards in my hand. And so I'm trying to figure out what my best play is. You can see as I'm flipping through, you might have been able to tell, I do have the Luke Skywalker in my hand ready to come out next phase. Oh, maybe we are. Oh, yeah, we are on the flip turn. There we go. Yoda's going to come in, kind of roll the dice, not knowing what that card is, but, with only a 3 cost and another low cost card, I feel good about just flipping in, seeing what we get. He flips Cad, perilous position, knocks him down, gives him a stat debuff. Another punishing one coming in on space side. And Cad Bane's ability, when he plays punishing one, is going to throw 2 onto Yoda. Want to make sure I swing in with Yoda before anything else happens. And put another Queel down. So lots of restore on my side. That's what Hero Blue is all about, is just restore to stabilize. If you're able, the games just totally swing around the 6 to 8 resource phase, because you can really just completely stabilize and stretch that margin out between your base damage and theirs. So I believe Derek is going to maintain initiative here. You can see my hand right there. I have the Luke in hand, and I also have the Zillow Beast. So got 2 of our big top end pieces. Ruthless Raider is going to come in and ping Yoda a little bit more. Now, Cad is -2/-2, but he does have Raid 2, so he will be able to at least swing in for 2, which doesn't pose any threats to my units on board at the moment. So we'll get Yoda in on base. Just keep widening that gap between Derek and mine. And, by the way things look, I'm in pretty much in control of this situation. He's going to put 2 damage onto Queel. You may have also seen just a second ago, I have the Redemption in my hand as well, which I would be looking to use to shut down space if I needed to. And we'll get a little more card draw, get Kanan into our hands with Queel. That card draw is just so nice. The unit itself, like 2/3 restore 1 for 2, that's money. That's good. And then the card draw on top of that just really synergizes with that double blue. So you're almost guaranteed. In my deck, this build, guaranteed bringing a card into your hand. Popular sideboard card for this is the You're My Only Hope, which is a single aspect white. So, you know, if you're running that card in there, then obviously it's not a guaranteed hit, but still got pretty good odds. Derek's going to play the Cartel Spacer. You know, might have been able to benefit with sequencing there. I'm not sure why. I may have forgotten to remove Queel when Cad Bane took it out. But I'm going to bring in Redemption here, and I am not going to move any damage because I'm just trying to make a block in space at this point. You know, 9 damage to deal with. Ruthless Raider can do 4, Punishing One can do 3, Black Sun can do 3, Cartel Spacer. You know, it's going to take 3 actions of just attacking to get rid of Redemption. So Derek's got to find a way to take care of Yoda here with initiative. I do have, you know, he does have his Sentinel in space. I think I forget about Black Sun Starfighter. I try to swing in with Redemption after this next action, but you know, he's got to find a way to shut down Yoda. Not sure if he's got the answer. So he's gonna McClunky there, which is an Underworld card. So Cad Bane will ping Yoda for 2, and then McClunky will deal 3. So Yoda is taken care of. Nice play on Derek's part. And then, yeah, I tried to swing Redemption in and forgot about the Sentinel. So now I've got to figure out a way to either get through that Sentinel or find some other, post some other threat in grounder space. And now we bring in the Luke Skywalker to take out that Sentinel, which opens it up for me. And if Derek's got no way to take out that Redemption or exhaust it, then it seals it for us. He's checking his cards in hand, checking damages, making sure, and then goes ahead and concedes. So our fresh out of the package, fresh out of the mail Luke's coming to solidify a game. Yeah, you got it done against Cad. And of course it's Luke that brings us home. It always is, and that's why I didn't even try to do this without it. So yeah, on to the next one. All right, so next up, Derek pulled out his Tarkin Blue. So blue on blue, there's going to be, you know, this is a grindy game. This game takes us like almost a half hour. So picked up the playback speed a little bit more, 1.5 times speed. Might skip some parts here and there. This is, you know, a grinded out matchup. And, you know, similar to my approach to playing hard control, like trying not to resource any of my big plays. You know, good old-fashioned 1-drop tie getting upgraded with Tarkin. So has himself a nice 3-2 in space to start us. And I'll maintain initiative with only putting down Queel. And try to stuff that with the Concordon Interceptor, which will at least keep it away from my base. And Veers comes down to give it another little buff. Veers in this with this leader and this deck works really well. It's a great card. And chooses not to trade into the Sentinel. You know, I think from Derek's side, he's going to try and build this thing up so that it'll survive that or have some other way to deal with that. So Veers is going to take out Queel, stop my card draw engine. You can see I've got the Kanan in my hand, which is ideally what I'm going to want to play. And there it comes. And he does not like that Kanan. So he'll take down the Kanan, which, you know, getting his money's worth there with 5 health for Kanan. And then I just take initiative instead of getting in one. Might have been able to get away with that, but I think Derek probably would have taken initiative if I had swung in for one, and I think I'd rather have the play here, see what I can do. See, I got another cannon in my hand, and it stays there for the meantime. We are on the 5 resource turn, which is his leader flip turn, so things can get pretty big for Derek here this turn. And dropping down Sugi, which plays into this deck perfectly because the whole point of what Derek's trying to do is upgrade his Imperials. So Sugi will have a Sentinel. In comes Tarkin. I will get one into base, knowing that he's got plenty of actions left to take. Reminding Derek that Sugi does have Sentinel because of the experience token. Bringing in the TIE Advance. Pump up Tarkin. So now we're getting real wide and real big on Derek's side. Fortunately, I do have 2 Sentinels there to kind of maneuver, play into it. I'm not sure. I think I'm just trying to decide if I want to. I think I soft pass to him. If Sugi dies, I'm able to. Why did I just get rid of my Conquered Dawn? Oh, he swung. Yeah, I claimed initiative. Okay, there we go. I must have. For some reason, I thought I soft passed to him, trying to see if I can get Yoda to trigger, but I think I just claimed initiative here. So obviously he did multiple actions, making sure he got his damage on Tarkin. He doesn't want to lose Veers because at this point, that TIE now has 3 damage on him. If he loses the buff from Veers, then the TIE will die unless it's given another experience token. So I maintain my ground sentinel going into resource 6. Sugi gets to live for at least a couple more actions. You can see I've got a vigilance in my hand, which would be good at protecting Sugi. I can drop a shield down and then defeat the Tarkin, which I think is what I do here. Because I know if I can go target Veers with my vigilance and defeat it, which will also take care of the TIE, but I guess I go ahead and drop down the Obi-Wan. Probably should have just taken out Veers straight up right there and given a shield. But I guess I was worried about not using up all of my resources for the phase or something because I didn't have any 2-drops in my hand. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but definitely should have taken that opportunity to knock those units off. Sugi would have still had Sentinel because there's 2 experience on Tarkin. And here comes the 2-drop that lets him put another experience. So now Veers is going to get buffed. And now he's got a phase 3 Dark Trooper in the ground arena. So we end up just trading Sentinels here, which, the trade wouldn't have happened if I had played Vigilance. So one thing that you got to keep in mind is get that value when you can get it. So now if he takes out Obi-Wan here, there's no target for Obi-Wan to give experience to. So that looks bad. Still only having 9 damage on my base at this point. I definitely could have been a lot worse, but I got to find a way to deal with this board. It's big and it's wide. And, eventually I'm going to run out of Sentinels. So Tarkin swings into Obi and puts another experience on Veers. And then he'll pass turn after that. Still not wanting to swing Veers into Obi-Wan. So now at this point, we are going into 7 resource phase. And I'm going to also, once again, I'm going to flip Yoda blind here. There's enough units on the board that, I'm almost guaranteed to hit on something when I discard. And it's a Luke, so it's anything of my choice basically besides his leader. I hate to discard a Luke, but it's going to come in clutch for me right here. And and we'll take out Veers, which subsequently takes out the tie. So a couple phases later, or I guess a phase later. No, that was a couple phases later. Should have happened a lot earlier, but here we are nonetheless. But I wanted to make sure I got Yoda out there so that I didn't lose a target on Obi-Wan dying. Wanted to make sure that he can pass on those experience tokens to something. He's going to overwhelming barrage here, deal 1 to Obi-Wan, and then put the rest onto Yoda. So 5 damage is going on Yoda, but he's also getting those experience tokens, so we're all right with that. And those experience tokens go on a force unit, so I'll get to draw a card as well, which, if you saw, ended up being a vigilance. Still have all my resources open here. Got vigilances. I believe I have a Luke in my hand at this point. Tarkin has also buffed this phase for overwhelming barrage, so I will play that vigilance and heal and defeat Tarkin. Keeps him from swinging in big with the overwhelming barrage buff, and also from buffing any of those guys. So feeling pretty good about that. He's going to choose to get 3 on my base. Makes sense. And go ahead and shut down his last attack here with a perilous position, I believe. Yep, there it is. So now he's basically, I guess he's got 2 resources up. But yeah, he'll take initiative. We'll go to phase. Hoping that Yoda will survive. It is unlikely that I get to see Yoda come back to me for my action. And he powered the dark side. Man, camera cut off the discard pile, but yeah, he powered the dark sided, so Yoda does leave. And vigilance will defeat and heal. Go down to 0. Plays the upgraded shielded sentinel. I'll bring in a Kanan. We'll go to phase. So now, both of us are in, high resource counts. And now it's just a true vigilance matchup here. Who's going to have the bigger play? I've had a Luke in my hand this whole time, and I should have dropped it earlier and just put that pressure on. Should have dropped it alongside of Yoda. So he upgrades the Sentinel, which puts it into Fell range, and so I'll use Fell the Dragon, get that nasty shielded upgraded Sentinel out of the way, and then we'll swing Kanan in for 4 and get that discard going. So, the restores have put me in a decent spot here, but I've got to start putting more pressure on because we'll pair this position the Chilton. I can't quite remember what was in my hand there. I don't think I had anything better to play at that point. But definitely at this stage of the game, I'm not putting enough pressure with that 13 damage lead. Derek's going to have initiative again. Any point now, I'm thinking in this shell I could be seeing Avengers and Devastators at any point. In comes Maul to take out Kanan. There's going to be a little bit of overwhelm here. I'll catch it in a second. Definitely do not want that Maul to reset next phase. I want to take that out as best as possible. There's the Luke right there. I need to just do it. And there it comes. Don't have to worry about that Maul now. Buff the laser tech. Just probably, to get a little bit more damage into that Luke. And he decides to not even swing with it at all for some reason. We'll go to phase here. In comes the Devastator. Oh, that's why he took initiative so that he could, make sure he got that Devastator in so that Luke doesn't see any play. You can see I've got the other Luke. I've got another Luke in my hand right now. It's going to come down to take out the laser tech. And he was sitting at the laser tech comes in as a ready resource, so he's going to use it to buff Devastator and put down the restore ship, hopefully as a way to encourage him to deal less damage into my base. But yeah, that Devastator is a rough thing to go up against, and he's going to OB and wipe my board. So definitely looking scary over there. Luckily, I've got a perilous position to shut it down and shrink it. He'll claim initiative, I believe. Or no, he's just gathering up his stuff. But get to drop in an Obi-Wan. He soft passed into a rival's fall. Takes out Obi-Wan. No targets for Obi-Wan to give. And now I've got initiative with a big, a shrunken Devastator. It's swinging for 9 in its current state. And all I can do is put down a Queel. He's going to make sure to get that 9 damage in. Puts me at 11. And, I'm just starting to run out of gas now. Starting to play some smaller plays, some restore plays, though. So, if those get to survive, which, they do survive. He's going to traitorous Yoda, and then traitorous the Village Protector is following it up. So it has just taken control of my board as it's coming out. And, it's a real rough spot for me. I do think that this is a matchup that I could have done a lot better in. I think I just didn't take this deck seriously enough. Didn't put my threats out there early enough. Just kind of messed around instead of going to work, So Queel pops the shield on the Sentinel, get a restore and get a card. It's another Queel, so nothing that's gonna help me. And he'll swing in for 9 more. So I've got the Redemption and I've got the Zillow Beast. Now, the Redemption I don't really want to, especially because Devastator is swinging for 9. So I don't want to shrink Relentless. It has Overwhelm too. So if I shrink, Redemption. If I shrink Redemption, that damage is just going to come right back into my base when he swings it with Overwhelm. So I don't want him to swing out with those 2 units that he's captured. So I'll drop the Zillow Beast, which will give everything -5/-5. Now he can still attack and get restore in if he wants to, but I believe he just claims initiative here, knowing that Yep, knowing what he's got in his hand is a Snowtrooper Lieutenant, which pushes Devastator from a 9 to an 11, which gives him lethal. So gets in with the Devastator. Didn't see any Avenger, which definitely would have ended the game a little bit earlier. But even a Devastator, I think I just kind of messed around too long. Had that 13 damage lead. I didn't play any of those bigger threats in. But, you win some, you lose some, I guess. So that's Yoda Double Blue. I think it's got some oomph to it. Now, what I am a little bit more excited about, and what will be coming in a soon to come video, is working with Yoda in the yellow shell. That's what I'm a little bit more excited about. So definitely want to build that and get it to you guys. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you've tried Double Blue Yoda, some cards that you might be using that I'm not. Let me know what you guys think about this build. How good do you think it is? I think hero control is just a little bit worse than villain. Well, not a little bit. It's significantly worse than villain control. And I think it's going to really struggle going into those villain control decks. That blue-black shell just hits a little bit harder than a blue-white. So, if you were to bring this deck to a competition where I would expect to see like some Bosk Blue and maybe some other like Krennics or something, this deck would struggle. But, we'll mess around with it. And we'll mess around with all hero blue. I've got access to it now. I've got the Lukes. So we're going to mess around with it, make some fun decks. And with that, I'll leave you and see you in the next one.